Occasionally when I start these videos for an unboxing, I tend to forget one of these. Grabbed it right away this time around. Anyway, this is going to be the first time I hope to actually put this on YouTube. Not necessarily a great video, but a way to learn about the system, learn about the process, because eventually I want to get into talking about grading comic books, not necessarily CGC, CBCS, PGX, Halo, Vault, but actually grading your own comic books, what defects to look for. And that's, of course, whether you send them in for grading or not. You should still know what you're paying for on a premium product. If you have an X-Men #1 and it's missing a staple compared to an X-Men #1 not missing a staple, whether it's the one that came out in 1963 or whether that's the one that came out in 1991, or however many numerous #1s after. So this box that I have here is my latest winnings from Comic Link, and there are 9 graded books. There's 1 raw book. I decided to go after the raw. I will send it in for grading. The raw, they graded a 1.8. I'll look it over and maybe I'll do a video just on that book as well, because it is an older book. I think it came out 1959. Anyway, let's get to the books. Now, I was kind of a little worried about this as well, because I got it at a FedEx pickup station, which I usually like to get them there. And it had red tape on it, which I never really had before, so I'm wondering, did someone else get it and re-tape it up? But it seems solid. They do tend to wrap them in these blocks and a whole bunch of popcorn peanuts. Apparently I got 3 blocks. The rest is popcorn there. We'll get these back over here. I have been collecting CGC graded comic books, I believe, since 2008. And when I originally heard about graded comic books, I thought that they were a waste of time. Maybe not even a waste of time, just comic books are meant to be read. And I still agree that comic books are meant to be read. So if you're anti-slabbing, we're not going to say anti-grading companies, but if you're anti-slabbing, there are so many books out there that are raw. There's nothing wrong with having a raw and someone grading their book because it's what they like. 2, as well, if you buy a graded book, it's easy to crack open. It's easy to free them from their prison. You can put them in your regular bags and boards, put them in your regular comic book boxes, still be able to enjoy it, including the storyline. However, with a lot of 0.5s that I collect, which I do have a Grail book here, which is a 0.5, probably one of the worst 0.5s that there possibly could be, because it's also restored. That alone is a reason why to preserve the book. It's going to fall apart. I mean, it's being a raw, how much will it actually be able to stay that way? There's many rare raw books, pardon me, that I do have, that I have bags and boards, and when I'm putting them in a new bag and board, they're actually falling apart. So there is a good aspect for grading books, and when you get a third party to grade that book, it's also easier to haggle on the price rather than the grade and the price. Pardon me. Now, this first book up, I purchased raw. It's the Reborn series. I thought it was a great series. I enjoyed reading it. The artwork was amazing. But this cover, this particular cover is by Todd McFarlane. And I have my copy, but I was always like, is it a 9.8? And I wasn't sure about that. So when this came up as a 9.8, I had to go for it. Now, one day I will learn, hopefully, how to show these books off, why I'm doing a small little video here. Actually, I'll put this bag aside, have other bags. This other one I decided to purchase, mainly because back when I was just a kid, I had trouble reading. I might have been 3 years old and I was reading Crazy Number 3 over and over and over again. And years later as an adult, I realized it's not brand Eck. And I do have a few raw copies, but I figured why not a graded copy? I mean, how can you go wrong with a book already graded for $17? And of course you just get it for the cover itself, but I like it. This other one I am trying to get a 9/8 series for. I have number 1, I have number 3, but in the middle I was missing number 2, and I went for it. I honestly thought I was going to lose it, but I did win the bid, and I can add issue number 2 to my collection. The Thing was a series that I started going after, and then for some reason I stopped, probably because I started collecting Kazar. And eventually I realized I didn't like Kazar as much, other than the first Belasco, which was the character that changed my favorite character's life forever, Magic. Or I should say Chris Claremont's actually the one who changed the character forever. But I got a copy of The Thing, which I will add to the database, and I'll get slowly and surely solidify that number 2 spot. The number 1 spot I don't think I'm going to ever get, unless I get them all signed, which I've been trying to do with the New Mutants. But that number 1 spot, I believe the gentleman has a few 9/9s in his favor. This book, I didn't collect it when it came out. The new stuff, I have trouble reading a lot of the new stuff, because when you are trying to have me invest my time and my money in the stories that you want to tell, and then start over, disregarding the stories that you just previously told, I decided to collect this one for the cover and the cover alone, especially since it's such a beautiful Bill Sienkiewicz cover. And most of these I got really cheap, to the point where it would have cost me the shipping charges along with the book. I think I got them cheaper than that. Not to mention there's no guarantee I would get that 9/8. This one's beautiful. I love this one. And it is a beautiful 0.5. This is Flash number 122. And the only reason why I got this is because it was a 0.5. Some of the 0.5s I've been going after have been going up in price. Oh, by the way, mind you, this used to belong to Walter. So if you're out there, thank you for the book. Apparently he wanted to do something because the coupon is missing. And this is the origin and first appearance of the Top, which is Roscoe Dillon. Of course, I'm not too much of an older Silver Age Flash fan, so I have no idea who the Top is. But I got that 0.5 to my series, and I brought up Magic earlier because she is my favorite female character. And I wind up getting a whole bunch of the new Magic number 1s just because it was like, ooh, what's that? What's that? What's that? You know, and it just, I decided, stop doing that. If you find a good price on a graded one, because you already read the story, you already got it digitalized, you can read it anytime you want, I decided to pick up Magic number 1. This is one of the variant covers. Apparently it just goes under variant edition, but this will be added to my Magic pile. And then we got the one last bag here, which is going to have that raw book in, which is actually something I can't wait to see. And more importantly, I can't wait to show it to you. But we are going to get rid of this invoice. I kind of liked it better when they actually had them with the prices on it, where it was actually an invoice and not so much just a, what's called a packing list. You know, I like to go through it, make sure I got charged properly, make sure that when I put it in my CLZ database that I put the prices in, where I paid for it, what the grades are, all the information. But here I have a Daredevil 391, which I don't get that. You know, you started off at number 1, you wanted the higher numbers, oh, we're doing the legacy numbers, and listen, you started off at number 1, you don't deserve to have higher numbers. You don't deserve to have 1,000 until you get there. But this one is by David Mack, and I believe Quesada also had something to do with the cover, and actually Palmiotti. So there's 3 people that actually had something to do with this cover. I have my original one, which I will eventually get signed and get graded, like I did with Daredevil number 9. David Mack came out as a 9/8. It was great. I thought it would be a 9/4, to be honest with you. There's a lot of manufacturing defects that I just would count against it. But for the price, I'm adding this to my collection. And then I went a little bit older, and this, I actually have 6.5 copy. I don't want to say my original copy, but it's the first copy I purchased at a comic store way back when. Did not purchase this one off the rack. However, I got it out of the back issue boxes, and it came back as 6.5. But what was great about that, it was a Mark Jewelers variant, but a Canadian Mark Jewelers variant, to the point where before this started being graded, people argued that it even existed. But being that I like the cover, I decided to add a 9/8 to my collection. And then the Grail book that I have wanted for a very, very long time. And I do want to get a high grade for this. I want to get a 9.92. I dare say I'll never be able to afford anything higher than a 9.2. I can probably finagle a 9.2. It even took me a while to find a 0.5. And this 0.5 is beat to shit. That they actually even gave it a purple restored grade. The main reason for that is the top part here is a photocopy of the actual book. So I'm sure this was a book a long time ago. They ripped it off to send it back to get credit for it. But the top edge of the back cover is also trimmed. So that is kind of interesting. So I wonder why they did that. But I finally have the first Kingpin. I'm overjoyed that this is great. And I don't mind a purple label. I honestly don't even mind a green label as long as it's a 0.5. I'm not a fan of grading a book and having it grade higher, because if it were complete, that's what it would be. But it's not complete. This is my second or third 0.5 that is a restored. I believe I have one qualified 0.5, and then I think I even have a qualified signature 0.5. But the book that we are getting to, the book that I will eventually have to get graded, is none other, and should I pause for dramatic effect, or just because I'm having trouble ripping it out of here. But, oh my God, you can even smell it. Oh, it's wonderful. But I have a showcase, number 10. The second Superman's gal, or girlfriend, Lois Lane. And it's got 1, 2, 3 aftermarket staples. I'm even going to take it out of the bag. I do have another bag up there set to put it in. But yeah, ooh, I know. You people, you know who you are. But these things smell great. It actually feels very secure with those extra staples in there. I wonder how bad this would have been if otherwise. But yeah, this is absolutely gorgeous. And it looks like the original staples are indeed missing. A lot of fraying, a lot of stains on the back. This comic book was well loved, definitely. And I'm looking forward to reading this before anything else. So that is what I got from Comic Link. This next auction, I'm not getting anything. I did see what's in there, but I'm staying away. The next month after, though, I believe it starts in June, there are 3.5s that I'm going after. And I don't know if I'm going to go after anything else. You got Heroes Con coming up, which I do want to go to. But then there's also Terrificon in Connecticut and Baltimore. And if I can pick one, that's the decision that I'm having with. Anyway, thank you very much. Once again, I am going to leave you with this wonderful book. Or leave with this wonderful book. Remember when you were a kid, you got something, you really wanted it, and you took it to bed with you and you put it under your pillow? This might be going under my pillow. Thanks for watching.